What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this one we have why you should move to Australia in 2025. I can't wait to hear the reasonings for why you should move to Australia. 2025 is here. I'm excited for this year. Great things are going to happen. But let's dive in. If you happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and let's get right to it.
When you think of Australia, you might think of the red desert, a bunch of spiders and poisonous snakes, or maybe even someone doing a shoey.
Come on, Post. We can't be doing
Australia
that.
is so much more than just that. It has so many positives and so many amazing places for a reason on why you should call it home. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did a video on why you should not move to Australia. It was quite negative when it came out, so this week I thought we would do a positive spin and discuss the reasons that you should move to Australia. Now, addressing the elephant in the room before we start with this video would be my American accent. I know it probably sounds like I don't have the right to be speaking about why Australia is so great. However, I was born in Australia and moved over to America when I was 8 years old. So I have a solid idea of what it was like as a kid growing up in the school system and the environment that played in. But I'm also seeing it now as an adult from an outside point of view. The rest of the video will be more from my perspective and what it was like moving from the US to Australia. So they might not be completely accurate. It is from my own experience and how I view Australia as an American moving over, but then also as someone who grew up in the culture and just kind of has a different view than your typical Australian who has lived here for their whole life. All right, let's jump into the points. Honestly, I was putting together a list when I was on the train going to work, and the list is so long. I actually might need to make 2 parts for this because it is that long. Firstly, I'd love to talk about the Australian culture. Now, it is quite similar culture if you're in another English-speaking country, like London, Canada, the US, New Zealand. All of these places just have similar culture to Australia in the way that, you know, they have holidays like Christmas and they have similar values. So I find if you're moving from another English-speaking country, it's quite easy to move to Australia because everything is just quite similar. You don't have to change a lot of your views. You don't have to change a lot of your behavior. So if you're moving from a place like London
not a hard move.
The US, it is super similar, so you don't have to worry about a huge culture shock coming into it. Another big reason.
So I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, if you're coming from an English-speaking country, then you're gonna be good. It's gonna be kind of the same things. There are gonna be some differences, of course, but culture shock wise, don't gotta worry about it too much. Be a lot of what you're already used to. So that's pretty cool.
You can move to Australia is the public transport is so much better, especially coming from the US where public transport is not really a thing, and if it is a thing, it's terrible and expensive. Australia, I feel like, has a good mix of strong public transport where I can rely on it and I know it's going to get me there, but at the same time being cost effective. So for example, on Metro in Melbourne, if you travel all day long going on any of the buses you want, any of the trains you want, it actually has a max capacity for the price that you pay, which is about $9. That seems pretty good for me. If I was in America and I had to take Ubers everywhere, it would probably cost me like $100 by the end of the day. So I love the public transport here. It is honestly a breeze.
That's facts. I don't know why I'm shocked. I don't know why. But yeah, those Ubers are not cheap. Those Ubers are absolutely expensive. And with the lack of public transport, if you don't have your own car, then you got to call an Uber. And you got to go broke in calling that Uber. So she's spot on.
No, don't even own a car. I don't even own a car, and it's the best experience ever, just not having to think about it, think about the costs, you know, think about registration, any of that stuff. And then at the same time, I can still use Ubers if I need to too. I think it's funny because I come from the US and everything is really about freedom. I have my liberties, I have my free choice, but I honestly feel more free in Australia, which is a bit interesting. The fact that I don't have to own a car and I can just go on public transport and I don't have to pay an arm and a leg for that transport, it makes me feel more free in a weird way. If you're moving from another country, specifically from the US as well, the dollar does go a lot farther in Australia. So it's great if you have a ton of savings and you're looking to move to Australia, that it will go farther. So for example, if you're from the US or maybe you're from somewhere in Europe that uses the euro, if you're coming across to Australia, that dollar amount transfers really well over to Australia. You'll come across and you'll feel a lot richer. I remember moving over from America and having, my set amount in my bank account, transferring it all to Australian dollars and being like, whoa, oh my gosh, I'm a millionaire. Not really, I did not have that much money. I was a broke, straight out of college student coming across. It is really nice.
She said, I'm a millionaire. I love that, but yeah, that is also a nice thing. If moving to Australia, the currency exchange rate, yeah, you're gonna have more money because now it's getting transferred over to Australian dollars.
Having that extra cushion moving over. I know when my parents moved from Australia to the US, it was the reverse effect. That was horrible. Think about moving with 3 children and a whole family. It gets expensive. The reverse isn't the best, but moving to Australia, it works quite well. In terms of immigration laws as well, I know Australia is a bit easier to immigrate to rather than other countries. For example, in Australia, which I think is a really cool part of their immigration, is that they have a partner visa that you can apply for. If you're dating or married to someone that is Australian, you can sign up for a partner visa. You can do a lot of the similar things that you have as an Australian citizen. So for example, you get full working rights with a partner visa, which I think is amazing. Because of that, all you have to do is come here on holiday, meet someone really cute in Australia, and sign up for a partner visa. It can happen.
There you go.
The coffee here is undeniable.
As simple as that. Come over holiday, meet someone, bam, get your partner visa, and move to Australia, the land down under. Was that great?
Undeniable, specifically in Melbourne. You know that wherever you're gonna go,
you already know about coffee culture.
It's just top tier. I think if you've watched a couple Australian videos, you know how amazing the coffee is here.
Exactly.
And if you've been to Australia, you definitely know how good the coffee is. I feel like if you go to any other country after and have their coffee, it just doesn't get to the standard of Australian coffee. I don't know what it specifically is, but there are so many coffee snobs in Australia. But I'm grateful for it because the coffee tastes amazing. From a culture perspective as well, I find that there's a lot more support with the different cultures that other people bring into Australia. For example, we just had Diwali, and it was really cool because I work next to a bank. So when I was walking around, I saw that they had like this whole Diwali celebration up. So they had all these dancers, and they were doing like a whole dance in front of a whole crowd within the bank. And it was absolutely so cool that they celebrate all kinds of cultures as well. Not just the Diwali holiday, they celebrate other holidays as well. But I feel like the culture is just celebrated so much more in Australia because it's such a multicultural space. Within that culture,
I feel like that is absolutely a beautiful thing. The cultural diversity and celebrating different holidays from different cultures in different parts of the world. I'm not sure exactly what Diwali is, so if someone wants to hit me up in the comment section and explain that to me, that would be great, but that's absolutely amazing.
Space as well. I find that Australia has a lot better work-life balance. One really cool thing that Australia does as well is called long service leave. So that means if you stay with one company for a set amount of time, normally it's in between 7 to 10 years at a company, then they give you 3 months of paid leave, which I think is crazy, especially coming from America where it's standard that you get 2 weeks off for a whole year. I think it's such an amazing thing. Some of my aunts and uncles have recently done their long service leave and they travel all around Australia and go on an amazing holiday. It's really cool too because you can take 6 months off and do half pay for that time as well. So I feel like there's just so much more emphasis on taking time off, taking a holiday. You're not seen as any less for taking a holiday or taking a break. It's actually encouraged by a lot of companies as well. One great thing about living in the Southern Hemisphere.
Definitely know about the work-life balance and definitely how much better it is in the U.S. where it's more so a grind culture and everybody's constantly working and forgetting to be living. Unfortunately,
in general, is that the summer break and the holidays are all around December, January, February, which I think is one of the best things ever. It gets chaotic as hell when you're around this time of year because there's just so many events going on, so many parties, end of financial year is coming around too, so it's just like hectic crazy, but it's the most fun ever. It's sunny, it's warm, there's just more daylight and more stuff to do, especially Melbourne being the city of events as well. We have the Australian Open that comes around. They decorate the whole city with all these different Christmas decorations and they do fireworks. The opposite kind of sucks though, having the winter during June, July, and August, especially in the northern parts of Australia as well. It still stays hot around those times. So if you're moving to somewhere like Darwin, for example, or even up in the Gold Coast or near Brisbane, you're still gonna have really nice weather even during those months. So you can always escape the
There you
cold
go.
and go farther up north for a holiday, which I think is really good. Adding
Brisbane, I'm on the way. Brisbane. I repeat, I am on my
to
way.
the work-life balance, and specifically everything with the summer holidays too, is that Australians are very social. There is a large drinking culture, but there is just a large going out culture as well, in terms of going out for brunches, going out for coffees. They're just very big on going out and being part of your community, which I really love about being here. Also, if you made it this far in the video and you have not subscribed, this is your reminder to subscribe. It's free, it's easy, and it helps support me to make more videos like this. One thing I think that also adds to kind of the community side of Australia is that a lot of corporations, a lot of businesses are very in support of big mental health days and other just kind of care for their community. So for example, there is this nationwide thing called Are You Okay Day. So it's all about checking in with people around you and just making sure that
Are you serious?
Since I'm recording this in November, they also do a big push for Movember. So all of the public transport has little mustaches. And I just find overall that people donate a lot more to communities. They volunteer a lot more. I feel like there's just further emphasis on supporting your community in Australia. I found it was still prevalent in the US, but even just 2 years here now as an adult, and I'm seeing so much more support for community than I did see over in America. This is a big one in comparison.
I feel like that truly is awesome. I love the concept of Are You Okay Day, like, because sometimes we forget to check on those around us, and people go through it. People absolutely go through so many things, and it's nice for someone to kind of reach out and ask, like, hey, like, everything going all right for you? I know about healthcare. I know that Australia definitely has better healthcare than U.S. in terms of availability, in terms of being able to actually go in and get health care without being bankrupt or without spending an exorbitant amount of money.
Into the US as well. Having insurance is not going to cost you an arm and a leg. If you're an Australian citizen, you get access to Medicare, which is amazing. That means that you can go to any appointment and it just kind of costs this smaller amount. You're not going to pay thousands of dollars just for an appointment. It's going to be around like $50 to $100 depending on where you go. And it's really nice as well because it's not connected to your job. If you become unemployed, you don't have to worry about scrambling for insurance. But if you are living in Australia, I would recommend signing up for the Ambulance Victoria membership. So that means that anytime that an ambulance gets called for yourself, you just pay a flat rate for it. It can get a little bit expensive, especially if you need to get airlifted. Hopefully that doesn't have to happen to anyone, but you pay yearly and it just covers you in terms of any ambulances that you need to use.
$40 a year, not bad at all.
Check out Ambulance Victoria. Overall, Australia is so much better in terms of crime rates. I know that's generally because there are just way less people in the country, which kind of helps with crime rates, but overall it's a lot safer of a country, especially living in the US with all of the gun issues and all of the crimes over there. I find Australia is so much more safer. And when I walk around at night, I'm not scared for my safety the same way that I was in America, especially because I was living near San Francisco. Walking around there at night scared the hell out of me, but walking around in Melbourne, I feel so much safer. For example, they have police at every train station after a certain hour. I just find people look out for each other a bit more, which I appreciate. Okay, I'm looking through this list and there is still so much more to go, but I've already been recording for so long, so I think I'm gonna have to make a part 2 for this. Definitely leave a comment below if you feel like there's something I missed today that you want to see in the next video. So I have a couple of vlogs of my life here in Melbourne. However, I just went to Brisbane this past weekend and made a vlog for that. So vlog will be coming very shortly. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much for making it this far in the video. Much love, and I will see you in the next video.
Great video, and yes, I feel like I said, you already know about the healthcare, but that's cool that you can pay $40 a year to get a flat fee for ambulance if you need it. There's just a lot of great things about Australia and a lot of the things that they offer that we don't necessarily have over here in the US. But that's all we have. If you want to expand on her list and throw some more, don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the next one. I'll see you guys next time.